Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Overcoming Podcast. I'm Derrick.
I'm Luis.
And I'm Manuel. Nice to meet you guys.
Manuel and we actually met about almost a week ago. And I was listening to his story. And Manuel, can you tell us a little bit about your disability?
Yeah. So about actually 9 years yesterday, I was walking home from work. At that time we only had two cars, but my dad used to commute, so he took one, and the other one was when my brother worked as well. So this was back in 2011. I had forgotten that I had to work that day until my mom reminded me. So I was trying to look for a bike, but I couldn't find the pump for it, for the tires. So I just decided to walk. It wasn't much of a distance. And plus, I was always used to walking. So I'll go do my thing, and then I'm on my way back. And so when I get to the place where I was living at that time, I don't know, this young guy came out. I'd probably say he was between 16, maybe early 20s, And he had asked me something, but I had my headphones, so I took them off. And then, plus I had all my work stuff with me. And he asked me if I was involved with any type of gangs, and I was like, nah. So I was also picking up cans, because I was trying to make a little bit of extra money for the holidays, recycling. So as I bent over to pick up that can that was next to me, I just saw a spark. And then next thing I know, I'm on the floor. Like, I just felt like something tackled me really hard, like a football player. That's what it felt like. I had a ringing in my ears. I had a numbness from half of my body. My mouth was dry. Like, I didn't know. I was just trying to process what had happened. So, and then I felt this really sharp pain in my left arm as well. So I kind of lift up myself up with this arm, and I couldn't move this arm at all because I ended up getting shot 3 times, So I got shot here. I got shot on my right side, which it damaged my lung. It collapsed it, so it filled up liquid. And then the last shot was on my back. But it didn't, according to the doctor, they say that it didn't hit spine or anything. It just passed close to where it damaged it. So I'm a T4 complete spinal cord injury once they did the ASHA test. So that's how I became to be a paraplegic.
Any questions, Luis?
I'm sorry?
Yeah. What was your first thought upon getting that first shot? What were you thinking it was at the time?
Well, like I said in the beginning, I wasn't sure what had happened because I was still trying to process. Like, how did I end up being face down? Why do I have these pains? Like, I wasn't even complaining too much about the shot in my back. It was mostly, I was complaining more about my arm and the dryness in my mouth. So when I was able to turn myself over, after I saw them leave, because they took off in the car. I saw the guy that shot me run from one side to the other, got in the car, and they just took off driving. So when they did that, like I said, I turned myself over, and once I felt that numbness, I tried to get up. I was trying to get up, but I couldn't. So then maybe by the 4th attempt, it just finally hit me, and I was like, all right, I'm paralyzed, So at that time, that's when I just figured out, okay, what had happened. People came, heard what happened, and then after that, I got sent to the hospital.
Okay.
So after you were in the hospital, what was it like going through that experience?
It was horrible. That's the word I'm going to use. It was horrible because, like I say, I have all these strangers, and I understand they're trying to do a job, So once I'm in the ER, they just stripped me down, because when I got there, I was on my boxers. That's all I had on, because the police officer at that scene had cut everything up. He cut my shirt, took my shorts off, took my shoes, everything. So when the EMTs got there, because I was shaking, I was like really, really cold. Even though my body was hot, I couldn't stop shaking. So they put that foil blanket on me, But once I got to the hospital, the nurse had told me, it's like, okay, we have to take your boxers down because we have to put catheter in. And that was embarrassing. Like that was embarrassing to me because I didn't want no strangers to look at my junk, So once they're doing the whole process, they're trying to set me up for x-rays. They're trying to put me in like CAT scan machine. But because of the injury to my arm, because the bone, the femur bone, got destroyed. It exploded on contact with the bullet. So right now I have a titanium rod. And I remember when they were taking me to the CAT scan machine, it was too small for me. So they kind of had to maneuver me, pull me, and they had to move my busted arm. So my arm was high like this. And yeah, it was painful, man. It was really painful. I must have gotten at least 3 shots of morphine, to kind of help me with the pain, but it wasn't helping. I guess my adrenaline was too much, So when they were done with all the testing and they finally kind of got an idea what happened or like the damage, I finally, I guess, settled in. I was able to see my mom, dad, and my brother, and then that was it. I blacked out. After I spoke to them, I woke up, but then I woke up with a neck brace. They already had me in the ICU I was in the ICU for 3 days. And honestly, because I was like dozing on and off, I didn't know when it was day, when it was night. Like I was just stuck in that room. And I would just see random people, like friends, family come see me, and I would just open my eyes and look at them around. And then I would just like completely fall back asleep, So I think by the second day, they finally took neck brace because I told them, I was like, I hate this. I can't move it. Plus it was too small, And the only person that I saw there, like all the time next to me was my mom, And I remember particular one day they came, gave me like a sponge bath and stuff. And my mom had left the room. So one of the nurses came in and she was talking to me, whatever. And then she asked me, she told me, she goes, sorry to say this, but you're going to be paralyzed forever. You're going to be in a wheelchair forever. So when I heard that, like, it just completely destroyed me. I was just like, wow. Like I couldn't even cry. I just had so many emotions. I didn't know how to feel, So my mom came back and I was like, what, Mom, I just talked to the nurse and she told me this, and I feel like this. So my mom got mad. She got really heated. She went and told him, she was like, you know what? Don't be telling my son things like that. You don't know what's in his head. And if you put this on him, you don't know how it's going to affect him. You know what I mean? So they stopped, they completely stopped. And they couldn't even do much with me because I didn't have insurance, So they started that. That's why I was in the ICU for 3 days. So by December 12th, when they finally got approved, I think it was like 9 or 10 in the morning when I finally went to the operating room for my arm, because that's all they were waiting for, just for the insurance to come in. So once that happened, then I got sent to a normal room afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah. So what was your road to recovery? What did that entail?
The recovery, well, when I finally got settled, because I also had tubes on my side. I must have had tubes maybe for a week because they were draining all the liquid that was in my lung. So I couldn't really move much on the bed. I was just on my back the whole time. If I did move, it was mostly gonna be on my left side. Even though my arm was bad after the surgery, like they still wanted me to switch sides so I wouldn't get no sores or stuff like that.
Right.
So after the surgery, all I had on was a strap, on my arm just to kind of keep it in place. So then they took measurements because they wanted to put not a cast, but more like a plastic protector, where I had like able to move my arm back and forth, and I just have it like this with the cast. And,
right.
let me tell you, when they did that, when they had finally come and taken measurements and stuff like that, and they brought the final product, they're like, okay, we're going to put this on you. He's like, but it's going to hurt because we really, really had to tighten it, and like I said, I was maybe 2-3 days out of surgery. So once they put that cast on me or arm protector, like they grab the straps and they really pull on them, so it's tight. And I'm gonna tell you, if I could have done it, I would have just got up and walked because that's how much it hurt, getting tightened down. But recovery there at the hospital, it wasn't very bad. They'll come and just move my legs around, sit me up or stand me up on a little standing frame they had. It wasn't after I left the hospital that I started my recovery, you could say.
Okay. And how many, just as a follow-up, how many surgeries did you need?
Just the one for my arm. They wanted to see if maybe the bone, whatever part of the bone that was there, would grow. Because after I left the hospital, like even after I left home, once I got home, they gave me a machine to put on my arm to kind of help. It was like magnetic waves, they said, to kind of help the bone grow. So I would go see my doctor about it, and he just told me the only way they would do surgery is if it breaks or it's hurting and see they need to change it, something like that. But I've only had one surgery.
So what do you do with your pastime now? Like,
well, me, I just pretty much look for work. I'm trying to look for work. I've been trying to look for work for the past 9 years. It's not even a little longer than that when I was still able to walk. But I still, go out, and I was going to college. I got myself enrolled in college. I did that for 2 years, but then when my family moved, I had to leave because then I had to really depend, try to get a job. Like I didn't really care what it was, just as long as I had a job to be able to support myself. But being in my position, it just makes it harder, 'cause I said before, it's like, people don't see me. They just see the guy in the chair. And when they see that, it's like, well, what can he do? He's in the chair. He's bound to that chair. He can't really do much, So I've done different, work programs here in the county I live in. I did a full year for medical office, and even once I left that, I went to apply, and all I was getting was, oh, we're overstaffed. Everywhere I went, even when I applied and got a reply on my emails, were like, sorry to inform you, but the position you're looking for, it's already taken. It's, we don't have room for more people, so I just do what I can. If sometimes I put up ads, if people need help, like yard work or cleaning, just around recycling, whatever, I just try to do little things to keep me busy. Maybe for the first year and a half when I started living alone, I was mostly inside. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. know, I was in a really deep state of depression, you know. I did counseling, I did all this and all that, but it just wasn't really helping. So, you know, as time passed, then that's when I started going out more and, you know, trying to get my life straight.
Okay, Tom. Yeah, I have almost the same situation. Like, and Luis knows this. It's like I would walk around the campus when the campus was open, and people, Luis? People would look at me and stare at me because of the way I'm walking.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it's funny because we have seen people attitude change as soon as they see my camera. Right? It's like, why can't people treat you just the way you want to be treated?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where we. This is going back to the series and that Luis and I had for the last week. What motivates you?
Yeah. So for me, my motivation has always been my family. You know, I've always tried to do things so that it can all benefit all of us. You know, that's always been my mentality. That's always been my motivation. Even that day when I was laying down on the floor, you know, all I could think about was my family. Like, you know, I had to make it. So, because I want to see my niece. You know, my niece was not barely born; she was already several months old. You know, but she's still a baby. You know, my younger brothers, my parents. You know, my other brother. You know, I want to see them all. So that's what motivates me every day. My family. You know, my family. Sure, we might be distant. You know, we live distant, but we still try to keep close. You know, stay close.
Here's
Right.
that kind of reminds me. We go with you next, Luis. That reminds me of a song that says, "You fall down, but you get back up."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
We might have fallen, but we're getting ourselves back up.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
telling, and we're getting back up, but we're also telling our story.
Yes.
I mean, it's crazy.
It is, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I've gotten the chance to tell people my story, you know, and just their expression afterward is like I get the same thing. It's like, wow, like that's crazy. Like, can't believe that happened to you, you know. But then I have also had people tell me like, well, what are you gonna do about it? Like, you know, instead of you moping around and doing this, like I get it. You know, they're trying to be encouraging, but then, like I said, there's times when certain things that people say still hurts. It's like you don't know what I'm going through. You maybe have maybe you have a image or something in your head trying to picture it, you know, but it's not the same. You know, you're not emotions. You don't know what I feel. You don't know the struggles I have to go through every day. I get your words, yeah, but it's not that easy to do, you know.
Yeah. People are quick to make light of what they do, but they have no idea of how hard it is for you, for XYZ person.
Yeah.
It's a defeating feeling, but if anything, it pumps you up. I could do this. I could do that.
Mhm. Can you tell us? You said you had mentioned that you wanted to start a YouTube page. Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to do the YouTube page at first was because, like I said, I live alone, and pretty much I wanted to show people the life of a paraplegic. That's why I was gonna call my channel, The Life of a Para. Pretty much what I wanted to do was like take you guys on the road with me whenever I went to the store, so you guys could see what I go through, through my eyes. Because I'm on a very, very tight budget. Again, like I said, I don't work. I haven't been able to find work. Whatever money I get from family, I try to stretch it as much as I can, and that's why I wanted to show people too, like, this is what you can do if you're in a very low budget, in a strict budget, you can say, just showing things like that. Also, like, how my body is now that I'm in a chair, like show them my leg spasms, show them what I do to control my spasms, talk about medication, talk about other situations, how it affects me, how it affected my family, how it affected some friends, things like that is what I wanted to do on the YouTube channel.
I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And we'll help you with that.
Yeah.
I would really appreciate that. Yes.
Yeah. You have any questions, Luis?
Let's see.
We have about 10 minutes or so.
Okay. While we went over what inspires you, what keeps you going at the end of the day? What makes you a forward thinker, looking forward to the next day?
Like I said, what keeps me going, at the end of the day, it's my family, but also me, because I have to prove to myself as well that I can do it, regardless of what I go through, being rejected, being looked down upon, made fun of, whatever, those are words, whatever. They don't faze me anymore, because I stopped caring. I really stopped caring what people had to say negative about me. Because if I do that and I overthink over that, it's just gonna put me down. I'm already dealing with depression, with anxiety as it is, and for people to add more to that, it's just like, no, it's not okay. So that's what it is. It's pretty much me trying to better myself in my situation, prove myself that I can do it. Like I mentioned, I think all of us in the disabled community, we have to prove more to everybody, because we want to show them that our disability is not going to keep us down. It's our ability to surpass it. It's our ability to show them that we can do it as well.
Yeah.
That's also my motivation, to prove people wrong. Like, hey, just because I'm like this doesn't mean I can't do what you do. Maybe certain things, okay, sure, I get it, but not everything. I mean, my upper body still works, my hands still work, there's people that I've seen that are paraplegics, man, and they do pieces of art, like, with their mouth, it's just incredible what people can do, and like I said, but we don't we don't get that chance to do it because people they're not educated enough to know. You know, that's why when I tell people about me, when I tell people about my abilities, they do get surprised because they're like, well, I didn't know that. I was like, I know you didn't. But see, people don't give us a chance to show. They don't give us a chance to explain. You know, they just assume automatically like, okay, he can't do much. That's it. You know, funny thing, I even applied to be a Walmart greeter, you know, checking receipts, whatever that, and I still wouldn't even get the job. Instead, I see, sure, 16, 17 years old that can do more than I can, and they're just standing there checking receipts. I was like, that's something I can do. You know?
Yeah.
So that's my motivation to prove people that we can do it. You know, don't hold us back.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a chance.
Mm-hmm. That's a great story. Wow. Wow. Any final thoughts, Luis?
I find your story inspiring, and to be honest, there is almost no reason, if you can but are disabled, to keep pressing forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my thought that, yeah, keep pressing forward. Don't be stuck thinking in what just happened, whether you were dismissed or rejected. Keep moving forward.
I agree, definitely. You know, there's this saying, excuse the language for it, but I just thought it was funny when I saw it. That it says, when life pushes you down, you know, get up and tell her you hit like a bitch. What else you got?
Mm.
So,
Mm.
so I really like that. I really like that saying. You know.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you. I really
We're
appreciate it.
probably we are going to do our part 2 sometime in January if you don't mind.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I'm an open book. You know, after everything that happened, you know, people that I've met, either the hospital, other people in wheelchairs, other people with other types of disabilities, you know, I managed to be more open because they were open with me. You know, they would tell me what they went through. They would tell me what, you know, pretty much bothers them. So that made me think things, and I was like, okay, you know what? I can be open as well. You know, and I have no problem with that. You know.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely keep our conversation going.
Oh
Yeah.
This has been the Overcoming Podcast. I'm Derrick.
I'm Luis.
And I'm Manuel. Thank you again.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you
Thank
guys.
you.
Oh, yeah.